Hello everyone, I'm Christina, and today we're going to talk about what's really going on with the climate change globally. Okay? Now, if you can guess from the title, I don't think this is just a grand solar minimum, because those happen every 11 years, or in 11-year cycles, these sun cycles. And this just doesn't feel right. I've been alive 42 years, and no matter what the cycle is, really more patchy, and most people can't really remember in their lifetimes anything like this going on. And so what I did is I did a little bit of digging, because I really believed that I knew what was really going on here, and I was able to prove it. Okay, let's just start with this. According to science, a magnetic pole shift, which is what I really believe that we're in. I mean, even if we're in a minimum, grand solar minimum, it would probably enhance what's already going on, but that's not the real problem, because you're going to find that a magnetic pole shift pretty much covers everything that you're seeing right now. And I mean everything, okay? It usually happens every 200 to 300,000 years, but we have not had a magnetic pole shift, not a crustal displacement pole shift, okay, but a magnetic one. There is a difference, okay? The difference is that a magnetic one can often precede a crustal displacement, crustal roll, pole shift, okay? It can precede that. So that's what I'm believing that right now we're really in, is a magnetic pole shift, a magnetic pole reversal. It has been 780,000 years, according to science, since the last magnetic pole reversal. Signs include confused animals, their radar is off. They might be trying to go one place, but they end up lost, exhausted, dead. Okay, problems with electronics and power grids. Have we seen that going on? They say, oh, it's these solar spots, solar explosions. They're coming through our atmosphere. And, the heat waves that can cause our grids to go down. But what if it's really the magnetic reversal? You'll also have the serious weather that you would also find with a grand solar minimum. The thunderstorms between climate extremes, windstorms, auroras, and it talks about space weather, human health, which, the sun's rays that are coming through, that's radiation, right? And with a weakened magnetosphere, it lets in the harmful rays, which is cancer causing, okay? One of the things that I want you to look out for, this was interesting, was that you might notice that your toilet is flushing a different way. Yes, I know, right? Another thing that I had mentioned in the past, which is part of the magnetic pole shift reversal that we're in now, is the South Atlantic anomaly, okay? Now, there are some reasons why, specifically, that I believed that the grand solar minimum could not really compensate or explain everything like a magnetic pole reversal could do. One, a grand solar minimum, it's supposed to create a general global cooling. That's not what we're seeing here. We're seeing very diverse temperatures everywhere, okay? It also says that you're supposed to expect increased seismic, meaning earthquake activity. We haven't. We've had increased volcanic activity, which is common between the magnetic pole reversal and the grand solar minimums, but the difference is that the grand solar minimum expects an increase in earthquakes too, which we're not. It's just not there, okay? So we're going to dig into a little bit of the research that I did and get rid of a couple of these things. Okay, these are the grand solar minimum symptoms. Real quick: food shortages, crop losses, feed grain shortages for livestock, seismic volcanic activity, highly charged atmosphere, wildfires, and wind, which, you know, is closely resembling. So I can see, you know, so it's actually time for us to be in a grand solar minimum. That would actually kind of be easy to mask the real problem, okay? Because like I said, if we've gone through this every 11 years, this still isn't right. Something more is going on. Now, okay, so with the grand solar minimum, it means like a period of less solar activity in the 11-year solar cycle, and that's why they expect a general cooling to happen over the entire globe, okay? Solar maximum is when you've got high sun activity, okay? So, you know, it's just kind of not working. Now, there's this article, right? And it's called "What If Earth's Magnetic Poles Split?" Okay, and it had this really interesting picture, okay, of what the Earth looks like when it is in the middle of a reversal. And it's showing, okay, you know, normal day, you know, north is where north is and south is where south is. But during a reversal, north and south is going to be spotted all over the earth. Like spotty, like some places will be hot and then places next to it could be cold, and it's all erratic. It's patchy where places are cold and hot. And so I wanted you to see this picture, right? Okay, so just to go through this article just a little bit, it shows they're saying that the geological record shows that hundreds of pole reversals have occurred. However, they're saying one hasn't happened in 708,000 years, which would make me want to, you know, kind of question their dating a little bit if there's been hundreds of them. But okay, we'll just go with that. All right, now what the thing is reason why they haven't been able to date this is because a lot of times they'll, you know, think about it, if we really haven't had a reversal in 780,000 years, and that means that pretty much nobody's been here to witness it, live through it, or even talk about it. So in some ways, these scientists can't tell you if it's going to happen slow or quick, all right? But they can tell a lot of what should be happening around it, right? And that's what's really bothering me, okay? Because this ain't going to take no 1,000 years or 100 years. We are in the middle of a magnetic pole reversal right now, okay? Now, when it comes to magnetic pole reversals, one of the things that we've noticed is that the South Atlantic anomaly has been there for a year or more. Longer than a year for sure. I'm just saying it's been in the news, and even when I made a video about it, they called it hate speech, they censored it, they refused to put it in the, you know, the search field, and you have to go through this warning if you want to watch it, and it's just science, but it pointed out that there was magnetic pole reversal going on, okay, and what that does is it can lead to earth crust displacement, which is the crust roll, the actual pole shift, where the land moves on top of the mantle, all right? And earth crust displacement can be defined as plate tectonics, scientific theory which describes the large-scale motions of the earth crust, which that's an everyday thing. It also includes faults, and then it also defines it as supercontinent cycle, the quasi-periodic aggregation and dispersal of Earth's continental crust. And it also defines it as cataclysmic pole shift hypothesis, where the axis of rotation of a planet may have shifted, or the crust may have shifted dramatically. And this is the definition of Earth crust displacement according to Wikipedia. Alrighty. So what? Okay, now also I found an article. It looked like it's right on the ESA website. The European Space Agency is who is responsible for this. And it is titled Swarm Reveals Earth's Changing Magnetism. And this was dated June 19th, 2014. So that was about 4 years ago that the European Space Agency wrote this, okay? And so it's already starting to talk about the changes, magnetic signals, natural processes. So it was kind of a neat deal for them, but it was like their cool way of saying, hey, you know, we're having some magnetic changes. And then we have the South Atlantic anomaly and this crazy patchy weather and all of these things that are happening. You know, like I said, the animal confusion, water is magnetic too, by the way. Okay, so it wouldn't be that big of a stretch to see that we're having water retreats. Okay, and in the meantime, I've mentioned that Houston has basically been this dome of humidity. And right now, we have 77 degree temperature at 9 o'clock at night, Central Standard Time. We have 77 degree temperatures with 94% humidity and only a 15% chance of rain. It's just humid and it's hanging on. It is hanging on no matter what. Okay? No matter what. Alright, so okay. Now, if you want to look up what it is that a magnetic, and it's specifically not a pole shift, but a magnetic pole shift or magnetic pole reversal, you'll be able to get those little nuggets and confirmation that you need to see exactly what I'm talking about, okay? Let me just make sure I haven't missed anything. But, oh, well, I guess the last thing that I could talk about really is what it is that we are to expect, okay? Because I was talking about this before, and I was saying you would know that it's getting bad when we're getting really bad lightning around the world. That was a big sign to me, okay? And we just, for example, had lightning strike either an apartment complex or a house today or yesterday and caught it on fire, just boom. And it's okay. I mean, I know we have rain, but the lightning has been getting bad. And in fact, yes, last night I watched just lightning in the sky, but there was no thunder, no sound, and no rain. It was just lightning. Okay. And the fact that, I mean, they can sit there and they say, well, we don't know, this could happen over hundreds of years or thousands of years, but the way that I'm seeing the events take place, it's not going to take no 100,000 years, none of that. They didn't even know for sure if it could cause continent divisions. The scientists were actually divided on whether or not that could happen, and they all agreed that it had to do with the core of our Earth, you know, because the outer core has a kind of a flux, really, you know, that battles inside of our core. And once in a while, it overcomes the magnetics that are our true north and south pole. It does happen like that, but sometimes it leads to a, like I said, a crust roll. Now, whether or not that'll happen, I guess you could say that's anybody's guess, but right now where you're seeing these extreme heat waves and extreme, you know, freezes, things like that, that's because the magnetics on top of our Earth are just going crazy. So it might completely change from hot to cold in that same area before you know it. Now, um, the only evidence that we really have on when it could happen, how soon it could happen, is actually biblical, because it talks about the last days, right? And all the crazy weather we're supposed to be having, the out of season things that are supposed to be happening, right? Well, it just seems to me that all of that, and then you get to Revelation 6, and all these things are happening, how the heavens are rolling up like a scroll. When you're having a crustal roll, the clouds will roll like that. So it's like the last days and all this crazy weather was describing a magnetic pole reversal. And as of the sixth seal, it's describing an actual pole shift. Okay, so if you want to keep going with this solar minimum thing, I'm not going to say it's not happening, but I'm going to tell you right now that is not what is causing all of these things. And they mention not just electronics and power grids, but I mean, it totally makes sense. I mean, if anybody was from the 70s or 80s or even maybe the 60s, you put a magnet on top of a television and that screen goes real fuzzy. It starts warping, right? And then you wonder, oh my, we're having another power grid issue. Maybe it's not a solar flare from the sun. Exactly, maybe, because we've had those too forever, and we've had them during solar grand minimum. So what's different, right? Think about it. Anyway, I just had to put that out there. I'm sorry it's late, but it was almost like a force was trying to stall me as long as possible. This was just absolutely going to happen. I'm sorry it's so late. I love you guys. God bless, and I will talk to you soon, okay?